Okay, so now we're actually live, and I hope you can see me good. We're actually live right now, and at this time, I am fortunate and blessed to have in our honor Pastor Todd and also Pastor Beverly Crawford. And I just want to go ahead and turn everything over to them. At this time, I'm going to give Pastor Todd first the opportunity to talk because we had such a good conversation a minute ago. I just kind of want you to kind of recap over some of the things we went over. So at this time, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, please.
Yes, again, Sister Teresa, thank you so much for having us on your show. We were talking a little earlier about how now Pastor Beverly and I, we reside in Gainesville, Florida. We pastored together here at Landmark Holy Temple of God here in the beautiful city of Gainesville. But pastoring was the last thing I ever thought that I would be doing. Some of you all know that Beverly got her start professionally on Bobby Jones Gospel. When we actually relocated, we lived in Gainesville, we relocated to Nashville in 1992, where Beverly sung with Bobby Jones for 6 or 7 years, and then she got her own record deal with Warner Brothers. And from there, after 7 years of being in Nashville, God led us to move to Dallas to work with Bishop T.D. Jakes at the Potter's House.
Yes.
And Bev did Bishop Jakes. She was on Bishop Jakes' record label, the Exterior Sound, EMI. She did Bishop Jakes' Woman Dog Loose Plate for over a year. So we traveled all over the country with Tyler Perry doing the Woman Dog Loose Plate. And so we were satisfied. I mean, we were happy. In Dallas. I mean, we were comfortable, had a nice home, you know, getting a new ride every couple of years, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we just were enjoying ourselves, you know, getting to listen to Bishop T.D. Jakes every week because we were members of the Father's House, you know, just feeling like, you know, this is where we're supposed to be for a while.
That's it.
And one day we had just come off the road from somewhere, and we was in our house relaxing, minding our own business, not minding anybody else's business, but tending to our own business. When Beverly's father, who was pastor and bishop here in Gainesville, Florida, called all the way to Dallas.
All the way to Dallas.
He asked Bev, he said, could I get on the phone with her? He wanted to do a conference call with both of us.
Wow.
So we didn't know what he was going to ask. So he began to talk, and he began to share his vision, and he was saying he was getting older now. He oversaw about 5 or 6 churches, and plus he pastored, and he didn't want to pastor anymore. He just wanted to be an overseer. And so I was thinking to myself, what does that have to do with me? That don't have nothing to do with me. And so then he said, I've been praying.
Wow.
And I believe the Lord showed me you and Bill pastoring the church. Wow. And I was like, no, in my mind, I was like, God ain't show you that. God did not show you that, right? So me and Bill was like, no, right now, you know, we're not thinking about pastoring. And he said, well, I want you to pray about it. I'm thinking, pray about it.
Yes.
There's nothing to pray about. I don't want a pastor. I see what pastors go through.
That's it.
I love what I do. Me and Bill, we're traveling all over the world. We're blessing people. You know, we're excited. We're members of the Potter's House. You know,
couldn't have no better than that.
Right. And so we battled with that for almost a year. We battled for it with that, and then we started feeling kind of uncomfortable. You could tell God was shifting us. He was shifting us, and we had pastor friends that we met with in Dallas, and we talked to them about it. And one of the ones who really mentored us, you know, Bishop Jakes, you know, he's crazy busy all over the world.
Yeah.
But we have a pastor friend there named Dr. Tony Evans. I don't know if you know Dr. Tony Evans.
I heard
in Dallas, Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship. He always had Beverly coming to his church to do stuff, and so he kind of mentored us with it. And so basically, he was like, "Well, try it out, you know, see how it go." And so we would fly home like maybe once a month or 2 weeks out of the month, 2 weekends out of the month, and help him pastor the church and just to see how it goes. But long story short, God has a plan for your life.
He
Your
does.
plan doesn't always add up with God's plan.
It doesn't.
And so we end up moving back to Gainesville. We've been here for about 15 years, and now we actually pastor Beverly's father's church.
Isn't that
He passed away
outstanding?
when we moved here. He was here for a couple of years. He actually helped us plant another church before we took over his church, and we just thank God we had time. We got a chance to spend time with him, and you know, it has truly been a blessing. We feel now that we're where God has called us to be.
That's
you know, Joseph said this to his brothers. He said, "What you meant for evil, God meant it for our good."
That's it.
And we're in a place where God wanted us to be. You know, he's in a place where God wanted him to be. And that's the way we feel. You know, we feel that, man, this wasn't for us. And that, like, we went through a lot of crazy stuff, even with our church for 13 years. We went through a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of learning, because we had to learn how to deal with people, learn how to be shepherds, learn how to be pastors. And we went through all of that to be here, to be where we should be right now, to be in this place where we are right now. So that's amazing. God has a plan.
And it's like God was preparing, like you said, for it in advance. She was being prepared for a position you didn't even know you was gonna be able to be in. And then what about yourself, Pastor Beverly? What's your perspective on everything, how everything transpired and took place?
You know, the Lord had been dealing with me. You know, when you're praying and you reach certain points, you know, like as he said, each time I got ready, we was in Nashville, and then after God got through with that, almost 8 years, he moved us to Dallas, and then you're there and you're doing what God has called you to do, and you feel the uncomfortableness of God tugging on your heart, saying, it's time to go to another level. I'm like, wait a minute, well, man, what you trying to do? And then when my dad called, we were both saying, no, no, we're not ready.
You were saying no.
No, because we, in our spirit, I don't know about Todd's spirit, but in my spirit, I knew what that entailed. I knew that there was not going to be an easy thing. It was going to be a lot of work. Yeah, it was going to be a lot of trials and tribulations. So we knew, because, you know, we've been raised in church. I'm a PK, so I know the struggles that they went through. Yeah, and that it wasn't going to be easy, because the other key was that it was a family church too. You know, you got my dad, all my siblings are there, my mom, them, the people who was raised, who basically almost raised me. Now you telling me that you want me to pastor these people
coming in and change things up?
Yeah. They look at me as little Bell. They don't see me as their pastor, you know.
No.
So you know the struggle. And then it's what, 5, including me, 5 girls and 2 boys. So
wow. So it's a big family.
Right. So you look for the boys to step in that place. Which one did want to step in that place?
Right.
But daddy said he wasn't ready. Wow. So now you skip everybody and you go to the knee baby, which is the kid next to the baby, and says, this is who I want to pastor the church along with her husband. I see something in them. And I know that he's seen the training that we had gotten through traveling the world. And so I think he felt like it was just take the church to another level. But the problem is, when you have had people there for 40 and 50 years that have been with him all that time, and saying, wait a minute, we're not ready for this. And then God just in turn, but God got a way of, like you said, getting us in a place. So we know that God in turn brought us back home. He had to use my father to do it. So he could set us up, because he knew that after 2 years after we started our own church, that my father would go home to be with the Lord. And he helped us. And blessed us and set us in this place. And that's where we are now. And we know that it was the will of God. It was a lot of warfare. It was a lot of people who we found that we thought had our back really didn't have our back.
That's the best way to find out.
And it hurts, but it's good to know that.
It makes us stronger.
Right. And the key is that we know we're in the right place.
That's it, which is a blessing.
We know that we're where God wants us to be. And I'm be honest with you, it's still a lot of work. Right. And but we're happy where we are. We know God has called us to be pastors of Landmark Holy Temple of God in Gainesville, and it is a joy. And every week we're looking forward to it, along with still traveling and doing what we do. We know this pandemic slowed a whole lot down and really shut us down for one point, so we're still not fully traveling. But
we're doing a lot more.
Yeah.
Now we've been doing home is we have a food giveaways at the church every month.
That's a blessing.
And so yesterday morning, me and Pastor Beverly was out there because our church is on the main strip. Okay. And we had our sign of free food, and we were bringing the lines of cars in, and so it's amazing now how the church is able to meet the needs of the community. And it does not matter your status in life. No. It does not matter what you're driving, because we seen people coming in with hoopty-doopies, and we seen people coming in with a high-end car. We see people of every color and every nationality that's coming in. So now it gives the church a chance to stand up.
And come outside too.
And so this is what the church is for. The church is to feed the people and to minister. And so it's been, that part of it has been awesome from a church standpoint, being able to meet the needs of people.
Which is a blessing. And then plus, you do like a lot through Facebook and also Instagram. So
So we're always on there encouraging people. We've been praying for the last couple of years. God has had us on the wall every morning, praying for everybody. And so he told me, he said, start doing quotes on Facebook every morning.
I look forward to it.
That we are praying for you. And I'm telling you, it has been a blessing. I even said, well, maybe I need to stop. Maybe people getting tired, and it's like, please, we need it. And so we do it, and to encourage people, and that's what God has us doing, especially now more than ever, to encourage people to lift their spirit. Then we're on there on Sunday mornings at 11:30 doing our services. Plus, we do conference call prayer with people on Thursday night with the members, and then we do communion with them every first Sunday, do conference call. Then we do our 11:30 service, and then we just started every third Sunday doing the praise in the parking lot, and so we do
really
drive up, in the church, and then they do morning glory on 2 Sundays out of that, second and fourth Sundays. And so it's just to encourage people, let them know that your pastors are with you, and then let the world know, hey, you got people praying for you, and we're just here to encourage and be servants.
That's it. And I love like how you use your platforms, and I mean, you could use it any kind of way, but you use it to uplift the Lord. And where it said we lift him up, that he's going to be the one doing the drawing.
That's right. And
through what you're doing, your ministry itself, that's what it's doing. And like you said, I look forward to getting those encouraging words that you
bless you. Thank you.
Keep sending them.
Praise God.
So the other question I have, because like I know like how you said with you, your dad was able to see the two of you go into the position and everything before he transitioned and everything, right? Your dad, he was able to see you at the church.
He was able to see us start. We started our own ministry, which was called Gainesville Family Worship Center, after the church was not ready at the time.
Okay, I got it.
And so he blessed us. And the funny thing was, our building was only 3 minutes away from his building.
Wow.
So he would come in our services almost every Sunday, and we were like covering under Holy Temple of God Incorporated. So we were always at all the conventions, the fifth Sunday meetings, there supporting and whatever they need us to do. Sometimes I went over there and preached, and so we still had that connection. And then when Dad passed 2 years after we had started, we still continued to help. And then the bishop that took over, we still, supported and was there with them, my mom and everybody else. A lot of people left after my dad passed. Those people that were giving us all that trouble.
Well, some of them needed to go.
Right. I believe if he could have lived to foresee that, he would have put us on in place and said, y'all are not going to be here anyway. But I think he didn't want us to go through that fight. So he was like, let's just wait for a minute. And then after so many years, and the Lord, me and Todd been pastoring for 13 years, the Lord tugged on our heart and said, it's time for y'all to go home. And so we met with the bishop and told him, and he was happy because he was ready for help too. And we were in place for, now we're pastoring my dad's church, so I know he's smiling because that's what.
Of course he is. And because like you said, and it's amazing like how you said he spoke it and he told it to the two of you, but God had to kind of, your husband and I was talking about how it kind of remind you of Jonah, but then it also remind you of David too, because it's like sometimes like how you said, people expect it to be a certain person and it's not.
That's
God
right.
has already claimed.
That's right. God already had that. He already had the plan. He had already had it ready. And
because I was the last one.
Yeah.
I would have never thought. Now you got to realize I was the one. I come from a traditional Baptist church, right? We didn't have women preachers. So when I married Beverly, I had traditional Baptist background, really. And so I always seen Beverly singing, but I never saw her as a preacher. And then, you know, one day she was like, the Lord called her to preach. So we thought about that. And then when I finally said, okay, you can preach, you know, my thing was like, you can go 50 miles outside of town just as long as you can be back the same night. And then when it came time for me to take her to preach, I wouldn't even go in the church. I'd sit out in the parking lot and time her. You know, you need to hurry up and get finished. Or when I did go in the church to hear her preach, I sit in the back of the church. Because I wasn't with none of that at all. So I was the last person you would ever see to end up pastoring the church. The last person. The last shall be first.
The first shall be last.
I'm about to preach that.
The first shall be last.
The last person. The last person. I have to laugh at myself sometimes.
That's a sermon.
No way. I remember when I first started preaching, did my first trial sermon for her father, right?
Right.
And my trial sermon was on a New Year's Eve night where he let 5 people that say God called them to preach get up to do their trial sermon. They get 5 minutes each.
Oh,
what kind of trial sermon is that, right? 5 minutes each, right? And so after I did my little 5-minute message, I remember I was young, you know, in my 20s.
Right.
And I was young and I was sitting up in the pulpit with him. No warning or nothing, right? No, and I got my Bible with me. I'm just waiting to hear him preach that morning. And he leaned on. Now that was that morning, a Sunday morning service. After I had did the trial sermon, it was like a week or so later. I'm sitting in the, you know, in the pulpit waiting on him to preach, and he looks at me and say, "You got a message? You got a message this morning prepared?"
Be all so ready. Be all ready.
You know what I said? No. I'm like, no. No, so I'm telling you. And so to look at that same church where I was scared to death because I wasn't ready, and to pastor that church now, that's incredible.
Wow. That is something else. That is
it's amazing. And it just lets you know when God says something, and it is God, no matter how many people are kicking against it or coming against you, when God says something, it's going to be done. And you have to know that. And so, man, our faith has grown tremendously.
I bet.
Yeah. Oh man, it ain't nothing. We just like when people talk, we be like, whatever. We know what God say.
What God say, and then you know.
And God had spoke to me. He said one day that I would pastor, but I fought it for years. And people would prophesy to us and tell us. I mean, even when it got closer to time, people would be calling us out in the middle of service and said, Lord is calling y'all to pastor. We'd be like, no.
I'd be looking around like, you must be talking about somebody else.
Right. Yeah. So you learn, and now we know the voice of God. We knew it then, but we just didn't want it at that time. But now we know the voice of God.
That's it. And then I was thinking too, like that song, it said, when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. That's right. That's right. When he say yes, you know, we don't have no choice but to line up. I know
that's right.
I used to tell people there's some saying or quote that says, if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him what your plans are versus the plans that he have for you.
That I use that all the time. I think it was an older gentleman. My husband talked about it too. He says, if you want to make God laugh, give him your 5-year plan.
5-year plan. That's it. He'll be laughing for sure.
Oh my God. Cause you can make your plan. Somebody was telling me, so they had went to school, they done got all their degrees, and then God, they not even working in none of the fields that they went to school for. And it was like, God, you got a funny sense of humor.
That's it. He'll be laughing right there with you. Be like, okay, that's what you got.
That's
Planned.
right.
I got bigger plans than those plans you have. Yeah, so yeah, that's a blessing. Truly, truly a blessing. And like you said, you're in Gainesville, so Gainesville, Florida, and everything,
Yeah,
which is
Gainesville, Florida.
Say that again. Gainesville.
Gainesville, Florida.
Okay, Gainesville, Florida. Okay, which is a blessing in itself. Were you getting ready to say something, Pastor Todd?
No, that's what I was saying. It was Gainesville, Florida.
Okay. And then, so your members, and I know your daughter plays the drums, right? She plays.
Yeah, Trina plays drums. She know how to play keyboard too.
Oh wow.
And then my baby sister plays keyboard, and then my son plays the lead guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I play the scrub board.
The strut board.
And the bongos.
Oh, you do?
And a little bit of tambourine.
I tell you, I'm gonna have to come over there one day. Let's please pick up. I'm gonna come over there one day.
Listen, one thing you're gonna learn that Pastor Todd is conceited. He always think he either trying to sing, trying to play something, trying to do something, and everybody like, all right, stay in your lane, except for the older ladies. They be like, let Pastor sing. Don't let he sound good.
Well, see, I believe that your gift will make room for you.
All right now, Pastor Todd. It will make room for you.
And he always trying to quote the scriptures to justify what he's saying.
I got you, Pastor Todd. That's correct. Your gift will make room with you. And they say, keep on doing it, and one day you're going to have it.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that at all. So, but that's awesome. And I know your daughter just went through, she had a successful kidney transplant and everything, Trina, which is a blessing. And I thank you for putting it out there. You had it on Facebook and everything, and I shared it on my end as well. So you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with Trina? And
yes, Trina was on dialysis for 8 years, and had been praying for a kidney, just praying and seeking God. People all over the world been praying for, believing God. So many people that gave me testimonies of them receiving kidneys and saying, "Don't give up." And so we held fast to that. Trina held fast. Her faith was incredible. She never stopped doing praise and worship. Sometimes she would be so sick, but she would go right in and do praise and worship and lead songs and play her instruments. And God brought us through. Every day we speak the word. Trina go get her kidney. And through this pandemic, right before the pandemic, my son had wanted to be tested to give his sister his kidney. So they agreed to go through the testing. So we went through a whole week of testing with him, and he passed the test. And they said, "We'll give y'all when we get ready. Find out when he's ready to do go through the surgery with her." Well, in the meantime, soon as that happened, we got the word, the pandemic happened.
Wow.
And so they shut everything down and said it wasn't doing any surgeries or anything like that. So we was like back to square one. So we was encouraging Trina, don't give up. Don't give in. In the midst of this, we still believe God. Even though the world was about shut down, and we're going through this pandemic, through COVID-19, Trina gets a call. And the call says, while she's at dialysis, it says, "We found the kidney."
Oh, wow.
And so she went to Jacksonville to the Mayo Clinic. And when she got there, they had prepped her for the surgery. And when the doctor said, "Let me test it again," they found out that the kidney was not any good.
Okay.
So we're back to square one again. But we still had TJ. So TJ was saying, well, he'll still do the surgery. Let's plan it. Let's ask them, because one of her friends had received, the ladies at the dialysis center where she was had received a kidney. So she said they're doing surgeries now in the midst of the COVID-19. So she calls Mayo Clinic and said, well, maybe my brother is ready. How can we schedule our appointment? So they was in the midst of talking about scheduling it. I think we were talking about doing it in June at that time.
Right.
And as he was getting ready to talk about setting the date, she gets another call, says, we found another kidney. Right. And she runs down there, and this time we didn't tell everybody. We said we're going to keep it quiet until they do the testing. And sure enough, at the last minute, doctor says, let me test again. And it wasn't any good. But one old man told her, he said, the third time is a charm.
Wow.
And then this other lady encouraged Trina and said, my husband received his kidney the third time. She said, you're going to get yours the third time. And
confirmation.
And it wasn't, I don't know if it was 3 days later. They was getting ready for church. Trina calls me, Mama, I can't go to church. Y'all gonna be all right? Because her husband does the sound for us. Y'all gonna be all right? I just got a call. They told me to come to Jacksonville.
That was a blessing.
Yes, they got ready, went to Jacksonville, and sure enough, my husband called it the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost.
That's it.
It was good. And she received her kidney in the midst of the pandemic.
Isn't that a blessing? And that was all God. Yeah. And she got confirmations on top of confirmation.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they said, don't give up. People, that's what the blessing was. You know, a lot of times people don't want people to know when they're going through sickness or they're going through something. But I tell people, I want you to know, because I want you praying. So the whole world was praying and people were encouraging. It was like, Trina, don't give up. I know it hurts, but keep trying again. Keep trying again. And people were being tested because her husband, they had it put on their car, on the back of the car, that Trina needed kidney and what her blood type was. And people were calling in. One lady, she was from Atlanta, Georgia, and she did a week of testing too to see could she. Yeah, she did a whole week of testing, and her name was Cheryl Jackson. She did a whole week of testing, but come to find out when she did the testing, she found out she had a blood disorder and didn't even know it.
She didn't even realize it.
Yeah, and so in the midst of that, God showed that. But you know, now we're good friends, so we got a friend through that, and she found out she had a condition that needed to be taken care of, and God just worked it out, and she's doing good too. And she calls Trina all the time, you know, encouraging her, and so happy for her.
That's so blessing. And then just like you said, the willingness, and then she got a blessing in disguise. And then And then you said your willingness even for your son. You said TJ, right?
That's right, TJ, Todd Jr.
Todd Jr. wanting to also do it, you know, for his sister. That's a lot of love there. A lot of
Come
love.
on. Oh, yeah, he loves her. Oh, he said, I don't want to see her suffer. I don't want her to have to go through anything. And so he was willing to sacrifice. He had even talked to his job to get off. Wow. And they had gave him the time. They was going to give him the time off. And I said, look at that, TJ. You made the sacrifice. It was just like, I thought about, you know, with it, Isaac, when he was Abraham when he was getting ready to sacrifice.
Oh yeah.
Sacrifice Isaac. And right when he was getting ready to sacrifice it, he said, "Hold up, there's a ram in the bush."
Ram in the bush. Thank God for the ram in the bush.
One day.
Thank God for the ram in the bush.
There was a ram in the bush, that ram in the bush said, "TJ, because of your sacrifice." Because you wanted to sacrifice and your sister, you don't even have to do it now.
Like, oh, that gives you
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yeah, that's it. And he showed it, and because of that, like you said, God will reward it. He will.
And
then too, I love it how you say you spoke life, and you spoke life over a lot of different things. And you know, that's one of my favorite proverbs. Talks about this: death and life in the power of the tongue. I tell people, don't speak death of your situation, but speak life over your situation.
And that's what we did every day. We spoke life, and we still do it to this day, encouraging people and encouraging to tell a testimony. With Pastor Todd, we finished our book. We're just waiting to do the publishing and stuff.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So when are we rolling it out? November, December? When?
Well,
probably beginning of the first quarter.
First quarter.
First quarter, so January 2020.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, which is outstanding. That's a blessing. And do you want to tell us the name of it, or you want to kind of wait to tell us the name of it? Or?
Music, Ministry, and Marriage.
All right now. All right.
Yeah.
With peace in mind. I want it autographed, though. Gotta have it autographed. I want mine.
Praise God.
Okay, go ahead and put my order in advance. Today is what, 10/30, 2020.
Yeah. That's right.
That's outstanding. And then too, you also have like a YouTube channel now as well, right?
Yes, we have the YouTube channel. Officially,
Beverly Crawford Official.
Beverly Crawford Official.
Okay, outstanding.
Beverly Crawford Official. So we want everybody to go subscribe to it.
Yeah.
So we build them numbers up.
You said Beverly Crawford and
Official.
Okay, and that's on YouTube. And then like Instagram, is there a way for people to connect with you on Instagram as well?
Yes, Beverly Crawford the singer on Instagram, and Beverly Crawford the singer on Facebook, and then Beverly Crawford Ministry on Facebook.
Okay.
And those are one, you can Beverly Crawford the singer on Facebook. You can join Beverly Crawford Beverly Crawford Ministry. It's a like page, so they can join on there. And then they also can do our like page for our church, Landmark Holy Temple of God.
Okay, that's outstanding.
You didn't mention me.
And Todd.
You didn't mention me.
Can't forget Todd. I told you
and the church ain't nothing about mine.
It's all about Todd. It's all about Todd, but it's Todd because he needs friends. But he already, your limit is already gone. You already got 5,000 people already. Well, he's so famous. But y'all can go in there and holler at him on his box.
What you say, Pastor Todd? What is yours?
I'll make room for you.
What is yours again? What's your page?
Todd Crawford, Facebook, and then Instagram, Crawford.Todd, Instagram.
Okay. Not too much over there. How long the two of you been married to each other? And been with each other since you were young? Or
can you tell? 38 years.
38 years. High school sweethearts, or how do we get this connection?
We grew up together. This is a church thing. We grew, because they tell you, you ain't married yet. Y'all need to get married, y'all. And when we was dating, it was like, y'all need to go ahead and get married. So we got married young.
I met her when I was 18, maybe she was 15 or 16, something like that. That's how long we were knowing each other.
But you made the right decision, though. Made the right decision. And
I'm having one of these hot flashes. I'm gonna grab my little towel.
Oh no, you're fine. And then Pastor Todd, because I know you had a lot to do with like getting the video over to Bobby Jones and everything. So you want to tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind?
Yeah. So Beverly's family, the Camp Sisters, they would be singing all over the place, right? And I would always tell Bev, because I grew up in California, so I really didn't know them until I moved here. But she had a brother who said everybody know us. They were world famous in their own area, right? And I was like, well, I ain't never heard of y'all before, right? But they were good.
Right.
And so they used to watch this show all the time, Bobby Jones Gospel.
Yes.
Sunday morning, but I never watched it. I really wasn't interested in it, right? And so they did a concert in Palatka, Florida, right? At a little old church, and they recorded on VHS. Right.
Wow.
But the concert was so good, man. It was church and they sung good. And so I told Bev, I said, you know what? I got an idea. I said, I'm gonna make a bunch of VHS tapes, right?
That's it.
And I'm just send them out to record companies and stuff. Nobody in their right mind send videos to record companies. You send them. In them days, it was cassette with the music on it, right? But it wasn't a VHS. So Bill them, they was like, ain't nobody gonna want to hear that either.
Right.
And so what I did was I went and I bought so many VHSs. I told her I spent $30. I bought the VHSs, and I got her sister to look up addresses, right?
Yes.
A record label. And I told her, look up Bobby Jones' address.
Wow.
And we made copies, right? Got the stamps, right? My $30 investment, and we mailed everything off, right? Just mail everything. Ignorance is bliss. Sometimes it's good not to know, because if you knew, you wouldn't do stuff. So about a year later, I went to my mailbox and I seen a letter that said Bobby Jones Gospel, right?
Wow.
And so Bill and them, they was having rehearsals like a Saturday morning or something. They was having rehearsal. And so I looked at the letter, and the letter was an invite for the camp sisters to come to a Bobby Jones show. And that was like in 1999 or something, 1989, when they taped in the studios.
Yes.
And so I went to the church and I stopped the rehearsal. I said, hey, I guess what? They were like, what? Y'all know I sent them tapes off. Y'all said, well, didn't nobody ever want to hear it, right? And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, well, y'all want to go to the Bobby Jones show? What you mean y'all want to go to the Bobby Jones show? Well, I got this letter here. It say y'all invited to be a part of it. Now, we had never been to Nashville, Tennessee.
Right.
Yeah, so that was it. And so Bobby Jones said he was on a tour bus coming from Connecticut or somewhere late at night.
Right.
He was in the back of the bus where it was a bed. And he was just back there looking at VHS tapes, right, on this journey.
Ooh, God.
And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he stuck this tape in. And he said the tape was real dark. It was like a poor quality tape. He said, but these little country girls, they was on there singing. So he hollered to the other people on the bus, the musicians and singers, hey, y'all need to come back here and see these little country girls from this little town of Gainesville.
Wow.
So they all came in there, and they was churching on the bus. And after that, Bobby Jones called me personally and asked if Bill, well, they went to the show.
Right.
They did the show, and they did such a good job until probably a year later. So Bobby Jones called me personally and asked if Bill become a part of New Life Singers.
Isn't that a blessing? But
all from a $30 seed.
Yeah, but you know what? You did a $30 seed, but you know how I say the mustard seed? That was that.
Yep. Yeah. That was that mustard seed.
You put trust out there, and God did the rest. Because I mean, what better way? He back there with VHS.
That's right. That's right.
And they went through, got past all the other stuff, and God gave him exactly what he needed to hear. And I watched a bunch of your videos too with Bobby Jones.
Yeah,
a lot of
people now redoing, putting those tapes out there on YouTube. It's one little young man, he's real young, a whole nother generation. Start putting out old the Camp Sisters back on there, and then me and Bobby and the New Life Singers on there on YouTube. So I told Dr. Jones just yesterday, just the other day, we were talking to him, and that's what he was saying. He said, I can't believe they done start putting our old stuff back out there. And I said,
you know what? That's a testament to what you've done. You know, that's what that is. You know, it goes from generation to generation. That's, I mean, and I saw, like the videos I saw, I was like, wow, Pastor Beverly ain't no joke over there. You know how to do it. Like you be like, you be so stirred up and so into it and giving your all to nobody else can resist it. They can't help but get in there. Oh my Lord! I love watching those videos. Those videos were really, really, really great.
Praise God.
Yeah, and then I saw the video with you, with your daughter's wedding. You sang "Our Father." The Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer.
Yes, and you know, somebody commented on YouTube when they posted that video. Right. This her daughter wedding. How's she gonna come in there and try to upstage her own daughter wedding?
Serious? Are you kidding me? No, I didn't look at it like that. They need to sit, whoever said that, they need to sit down somewhere. They wasn't in the spirit. They was not in the spirit, because I was like, wow, that was awesome. That's terrible. That was beautiful though. Beautiful wedding. Beautiful wedding. And like I said, I love the way you sing because you don't get to hear that song very often. The Our Father, the Lord's Prayer. You don't get to hear it very often.
Right.
You did an outstanding job with it. But I was gonna also say, because I know like Pastor Beverly, you started like at a very young age. I think I heard some information about you started like when you were 3 years old.
Yes.
So how did how did your family realize, hey, this young lady is really gonna go far? Like I see the potential, I see where she's headed at. God's truly got got his hands over her, and she's gonna, go far. When did your family like see it at that young age?
Well, the reason why I knew that I was 3 years old, because I asked my mom when I started singing, and she said that we lived out in the country, called a little place in Gainesville, on the outskirts of Gainesville, called Copeland Settlement.
Okay.
And my mom would come out in the yard and hang the clothes up on the clothesline after she washed them. And I would always, to this day, I love to wash clothes, probably because of that. And so she would go out and hang those clothes up. And she said every time she would go out in the yard and do that, hang the clothes up or rake the yard, she said, I would come out there and I would just be singing. And my voice would carry through the neighborhood.
Wow.
And the lady across the street, her name was Miss Gillen. She owned a farm across the street.
Right.
And she would come to the fence and ask my mom, is Lil Bev gonna sing today? And I would be out there singing. Well, at that time, as I got older, I remembered that I would imagine that the grass was my audience and the stick was my microphone. And I could see all these sea of people, didn't know where God was taking me.
God was showing it to you.
Yeah. And my mom would always say, I'm gonna keep you close to me. She said, because you're gifted and people are gonna try to do things, to try to go against you. And I didn't understand because I was so young. But as I began to grow up, I would see her always keep me under her, and people always asking me to sing and asking me to go come to their churches and everywhere. And my dad would put me up at 5 years old, they put me up on a stool in the church. I did my first solo in front of people. And after that, I've been singing ever since. So that gift, they see that in me. And then my father, he loved to sing. My mama sang. They had groups before they got married. After we talked about my dad did a little CD. It was what it was like a 45 he did years ago.
Wow.
And, so singing has always been in our family and music. Yeah. So it's in us. All our sisters, all the girls sing. Most of them, somebody plays something. So it's always been a part of our family.
That's a blessing.
So we grew up like that, just singing. We get out in the yard and think of our own church. My brother and them would be doing funerals with the little, we call them little skeeter holes, the little bugs that be flying around.
Right.
And get them and put them in a matchbox. We had funerals. We'd be singing and burying them.
You said funerals.
I don't know nothing about that.
He didn't know nothing about that.
I'm not country enough.
No, we would have they call them another name now. They're the bugs with the big long tail and you don't even have to see them that much now.
Right.
They'll have a funeral for an ant. It didn't matter. Anything to create a service.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
That is too funny. Too funny. So like, did you ever especially being a professional gospel singer, Stellar Award winner, and everything? Did you ever how did you know you had your very moment when you ran into somebody and you met him? You was like, oh my gosh, I've met this person. I've been watching them all my life. I'm finally in front of them. Did you ever have a moment like that with anybody you met?
Oh, my list is long. You know what I'm saying? Because I thank God for Dr. Bobby Jones giving me an opportunity, because it afforded me to meet people that I had met. My dad was a radio announcer too. So I had the opportunity to meet Shirley Caesar. So I had the experience with Shirley Caesar, with the Williams brothers, Dixon Hummingbirds, A lot of the quartet, because they came around here, Jackson Southern Nail. So all that we did build a relationship. But then when I went to Dr. Bobby Jones, it afforded me a bigger platform to meet Walter Hawkins and Edwin Hawkins and Jermaine Hawkins. Oh my God. And Andre Crouch and the Caravans and see a lot of them at the beginning of the career, like Kurt Franklin. Oh man. And Cowboy Boots. So I had to meet them, and even Yolanda Adams before they got me. Then when I signed with Warner Brothers, I was on the same label with the Winans, with Donnie McClurkin, with Orlando Draper and Jonathan Slocum. And so that happened then to meet other people, like Natalie Cole. The list just goes.
It just go on and on.
Yeah, I was in awe a lot.
I believe it, because I will be in awe a lot.
Yeah, and people, choirs that I grew up on listening to, Mississippi Mass Choir and the Georgia Mass, Chicago Mass. Oh my God, the Tommies. It just the list goes.
It just go on and on.
And the Clark Sisters and it's just everybody you can just think of. I had the opportunity, and then to meet new artists. Now they, like Pastor Todd said, you seen Kurt Franklin, at that time, and now to see them now in their place and to sell and be blessed. It's a blessing. And I remember Mary, their family came and background for Bobby Jones before they with their church family.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty good. That's a blessing. Truly, truly.
Yeah. Yes.
But I was getting ready to say something else to you. So that's really awesome. Oh, I was gonna say you actually sang the song, one of the songs I was listening with Bobby Jones with Yolanda Adams.
Yes.
A couple of songs and everything, which is a blessing. Did you ever get to meet like Whitney Houston as well? Or?
Yes, I had that opportunity to meet Whitney through CC Winans and BB. Yeah, actually CC and BB, Anointed, the group Anointed, all of us with Carmen. All of us went to church together at Nashville at Born Again Church with Pastor the Hawkins, and so all of us went to church together. So we had a opportunity to meet a whole lot of people. Whitney Houston, so many people passed through. Yeah.
And plus, probably you had a lot of met a lot of people through, like how you said the Potter's House with
Yes. Then you got with Bishop Jakes. I had another opportunity to meet so many wonderful people too. So yeah,
I bet, and under, like you said, always been under such great leadership, like you said.
Yeah, that's a blessing. Good pastors that covered us. The Hawkins, Pastor Kitty, and Pastor Horace and Harold Hawkins. They both were twin brothers that pastored the church there. Wow. So to be there at the church, they covered us and prayed over us, and then to move to Dallas, Texas with Bishop Jakes and Lady Sarita Jakes and so many wonderful pastors there at the Potter's House that covered us and was there for us. It was just truly a blessing.
Now, do you still go back and forth?
Yes, still go back and forth. I just did a virtual thing from Bishop Jakes.
You did?
Yeah, I think it was in August. They were celebrating, I think it might have been 30 years in ministry, and they had me to do a taping of me singing, and it was just truly a blessing.
So are you gonna do live for us? Like do like a gospel? Like do one of your gospel, like an evening with Pastor Beverly Crawford?
That's what we're working on, because so many people have been asking when I'm gonna do. I think you just titled it. I think that'll be good. Beverly Crawford.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, so we just was talking about that, because some people say we were waiting on you. Everybody else do it. Please, so we're working on that.
Yeah, please do it. We gotta have it. We definitely gotta have it. But, it seemed like I was gonna ask you something else too. Oh, I know what it is. I want you to tell us, like, just to encourage other people, because when I met you over there in Stanford, you was telling us about the choo-choo, which is like the train. Can you
Yeah.
like, expound on that a little bit to encourage others that are going to be able to be fortunate to watch the video?
Yes, I was in Dallas at the time, and I had never gone through with my finances like I had gone through, and it was like, okay, God, I'm doing what you called me to do. You know how we remind the Lord, I'm doing
That's
what you
it.
called me to do. You
That's it.
told me to do this. I didn't
That's it.
call myself. You chose me. So I went through all that with him.
We
And
have
Lord, I'm
to.
praying for, yeah, Lord, I'm praying for everybody. They being blessed. And look at us. We're going through this. Why are we going through it?
I know
And the
that.
Lord spoke to me. He said, Beverly, it is nothing that you have done. It's just something you got to go through.
That's
And
it.
I was just, oh God, just crying and crying.
That's it.
And my husband walks in and says, haven't God always come through for us? And I say, yeah, but you just don't understand, and I'm just crying. And when he walks out the room, let me have my pity party. And I heard his
We
voice.
have them.
Right. Because we are flesh and blood. So remember, it's
That's
okay.
it. It's okay.
Right. And so I heard the voice said, Beverly, shut up. Go blow your nose and wash your face. And come back in here and praise me like you done lost your mind. I didn't have no music. It was just me and that praise God, just glorifying God.
Wow.
And in the midst of that, I heard a sound say, choo choo,
Wow.
choo choo. And I said, God, what's that?
Woo.
He said, Beverly, that's not any kind of train, but that's a freight train.
Wow.
And I want you to go all over this country and tell my people that the train is at the station
That's
and
it.
it's getting ready to deliver your stuff.
Woo.
And oh my God. And I just begin to praise God. Wow. At that moment, Todd walks in the door. Those are FedEx on the dresser. Now, mind you, we're not doing anything working at this time. And he throws a FedEx on the dresser. I opened up the FedEx. There was a check in there with a sticky note that said, we figured you needed this now.
Wow.
I threw that check on that dresser, and I began to dance, and I began to shout again and praise God. And I heard the sound again. Yeah, I heard the sound again, and the sound said, choo choo, choo choo, choo choo choo. I said, God, what you trying to tell me? He said, I'm trying to tell you something sooner than you think.
Wow.
And that's where the choo choo came, and I've been telling it all over the country. People have been hearing the sound of trains. One old man told me, I did a revival at this church in Lake City, and he said that the train comes by his house every morning at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
He never paid attention because he got immune to just sleeping through it. He said, but ever since I preached that sermon, he gets up when that train get up, and he said, choo choo, mine on the way, mine on the way. And, oh my God. And I tell him, and I believe it's for now too. Through this pandemic, for people not to give up, to give in. Me and Pastor Todd we haven't hardly been working. We've been shut down because can't fly. People can't really go into service and do big concerts. So a lot of stuff has been canceled. But every day God has been sending. Almost every day He's been sending a raven. That's what Pastor Todd said. God has sending us a raven that where the cash up clings, and where somebody say, "Hey, you are in my spirit. I want you to meet me somewhere. Let me bless you." Or I want to be a blessing to you. Give me your address. Yes. And so God's been meeting the needs. So I'm encouraging other people. You may be laid off. Your job may have cut your hours, or you just sit there depressed, everything. But don't worry. God is getting ready to send deliverance. It's coming. Hold fast. Choo choo.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Yes. That's awesome. Yes, I love it. I'm so grateful you were able to share that with us. That is truly a blessing. And I know a couple I would like you also, if you don't mind, to like share some of your favorite scriptures, like just to encourage, leave some encouragement with others as well.
Okay. Please. Yeah. My favorite scriptures, when a lot of people don't know, I had trouble reading, and through that the Lord told me, I said, God, why would you call me? And I have trouble reading. And he said, Beverly, You know, I called you. I chose you. All I need you to do is open up your mouth and I'll speak for you.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. God did that for me. My husband, when I told my husband, I said, you may not want to marry me because I have trouble reading. He told me, girl, please, I help you read.
I know that's right. Now that's love. That's love.
And so I tell people all the time, that's what Boaz will do for you.
That's
He'll help
it.
you.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's, hey,
And so I started reading Psalms 27.
wow.
I read that every day. The
Wow.
Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foe, come upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumble and they fail. Though an host shall encamp around me, my heart shall not fear. Though war shall rise up against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I might dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He will set me up upon a rock. Now my head shall be lifted up above my enemies round about me. Then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to have no pity party, but I'm going to offer up sacrifices. I'm going to say yay. I'm going to say praises unto the Lord. Psalms 27 is a poem to me. Psalms 27 is life to me. And then he told me to go down. He said, go down to the part where it says, in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion. And he told me to look up pavilion. I was like, Lord, I'm having trouble reading. How am I going to look up in the dictionary pavilion? But the Holy Spirit showed me how to look it up. I looked at pavilion, and pavilion was a place where the kings would go to hide away. And the only way anybody could enter in, they had to get permission from the king. So Lord said, who the king? I said, you the king, you the man, you got it going on. He said, well, Beverly, all I want you to do, if you know I got it going on, he said, praise me, just trust me. And he said, I'll cover you, I'll protect you. And that's what the Lord did. And that's what he's still doing. So Psalms 27 is one of my favorite.
And you got it memorized too.
Yeah, I quote that thing almost every day. And then of course Psalms 23. The Lord is my light and myself. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. And I hold fast to that because he leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I feel no evil, because the Lord is with me. That's a good one. I hold fast to that. I stand on his word, because his word won't go void. I'm telling you.
Oh, that is beautiful. Wow, that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing both of those.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. I'm a songs lady myself, so
I'm saying I can go for days. I can just pull my.
That's it. A lot of wonderful scriptures.
Yeah.
A lot of wonderful scriptures, but I also wanted to and you already spoke about the power of life and death are in the power of the tongue. So I thank you for allowing us to be able to go over that. And then seemed like it was something else I wanted to find out too. Oh, the other question that I had is seemed like there was one more question. Oh, out of all the songs you sing, because you sing quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
If you had to name like your top 3, your top 4 favorite songs of your own, what would you say your top ones are? I love all of them.
Oh my God. That's so hard.
I love all of them.
That's so hard, because I can say mostly all the songs that I've ever sung or written, they come from my heart, because anytime I do anything, I give it to God. He gives it to me, and it goes out to the people. Right. There is so much right now. This bit in my spirit. I've been reaching back to an old one. I'm Still Standing.
Oh, and, that's so beautiful.
And because now, as I told you, it's been encouraging people. And I can't go anywhere without singing, He's Done Enough.
Oh no,
He's Prince King, Miracle. No. Oh my God,
this is a good one too.
Yeah, Marvelous. The list just goes on and on. So if I start naming them, then I think of something else.
And then, like you said,
Jehovah.
Well, like you said, because you give it to God in all of them. Each one becomes better and better. That's like even like with me with the magazine. I say Denzel Washington, like he had this interview one time before, and they questioned him the same way. They said, "Which one is your greatest movie?" And
Right.
like you just said, all of them are great because God got his hands on them.
That's right.
But what he said to the person that was actually interviewing him, he said, my next one will be greater. So I say the same thing to you. The next one and the next one, all of them continue to be greater because God got
Praise
his hands
God.
all in it.
Praise
So,
God.
yeah, so that's a blessing in itself. And then,
Yeah.
so you're encouraging yourself. So I guess my question is, who encourages you when you need encouragement? Because you do a lot of encouragement, whether it be Facebook, whether it be through song, whether it be through preaching. So who encourages Pastor Beverly Crawford?
Oh my God, so many people. Because I listen to so many people. So I can just say at that time, it may be through a song, or I might be strolling through Facebook and somebody give a word, or they might have a little quote they put out there that just blesses me. So many wonderful men and women of God are out there. And then people that nobody don't even know. Sometimes it's through a little kid that come and encourage me, like this little 3-year-old, and I didn't even know she could talk that good. I was at a church, and she walks up to me and put her hands on her hips, and she said, "I just want you to know that sweeping through the city just blessed my heart."
The little girl,
I said, "Mom," I said, "how old is she?" She said, "She's only 3 years old." I said, "3-year-old telling me that my song blessed her heart, her little heart."
Wow, that is phenomenal to hear. That's powerful. That's
Come
powerful.
on, out of the mouth of babes, you know?
That's
Out of the mouth. So I can't really say it's somebody famous or it could be that little kid out of the mouth of babes that just come and bless you. Just at that moment in that time.
Wow, that's a blessing. I love it. I love it because I love exactly what you said and everything. And then I'm trying to let's see. So, is there anything else that because this is going to be like when I get ready to do the magazine, it's going to be, of course, about you and Pastor Todd. Is there anything else you feel you would like to add to our issue that we're going to be doing in November? Like anything else you would like to add?
That we are working on the new music, and then the book is coming. We're looking forward to the book coming out, and so I'm believing we're gonna have the book and the music, everything. Put out really, really, we're going to put out a single real soon. So that's encouraging. Then our church, anytime they're in the area, they can always come to the Landmark Holy Temple of God. And as soon as we get over this pandemic.
That's it, wait.
Yeah, and just to encourage people to be strong and hang in there. And that, they can always reach out to us via our media. And we're there. It's not no third person answering. It is us talking.
Yeah, directly, like you said, directly yourself, because that's how I reached out to you, and you get back in touch with me. And then what about, like, I know booking, we're not doing so much booking this year, but let's say for future booking, if they want to get into
right.
With you.
And believe it or not, a lot of people are booking, a lot of them doing the virtual, so they still book me. They still, like you do, I'm still doing interviews, or they want us to do the virtual tape, so we tape it and send it to them, or they'll say we're gonna put you on live, so I'll set it up when we're doing live. So we still booking. I'm going to Houston tomorrow, and I'll be doing a live concert, but it'll be social distance and everything. So people are still booking.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. Yeah. But how would they get in touch with you? Is there
they can contact Todd Crawford by email or tc733@aol.com, or they can call him directly 352-278-3133. And they can get him, and he can book him, or they can also inbox him on Todd Crawford Facebook.
Please, yes.
Yeah. Or they can do Beverly Crawford Ministry on Facebook, or and contact us through there, or on Beverly Crawford the singer in inboxes, and we will in turn call them back. And the information is on Beverly Crawford Ministries to how to book me.
Okay, which is outstanding. Okay, so anything else you can think of? We're gonna pretty much close out. Just any final words, any quotes you want to leave everybody with?
I will leave this with them. Whatever your dreams are, whatever your visions are, hold fast to it. Don't give up. And always remember, you're only going through to come out.
All right. I love it. I love it. So I definitely appreciate this time with you, Pastor Beverly Crawford.
Thank
and also
you.
please let Pastor Todd know as well. And
Okay.
I'm excited about featuring the two of you, like I said earlier in the magazine. I thank you for the phenomenal and amazing job that you're doing out there worldwide. Thank you for your humbleness. Continue to do greatness in the Lord, which I know the two of you will. So forever blessings to you and your family. God bless.
All right. Thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you for having us to do this.
Absolutely. God bless you.
God bless.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Just get the thing and say leave.
Okay.